Absolutely. Let's resume, shall we? And listen to what we have before us. Thank you so much, everyone. First of all, welcome. Glad to see you both today. Thank you for being here to present your budgets. We appreciate that and the good work you're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Casey. It's my pleasure today to present the Department of Utilities fiscal year 25 budget. With me today is Kathy Sobczak, who is the Assistant Director of our Finance Administration. She'll be presenting part of the budget with me today. Before we jump right into the budget, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the board for your support of the Utilities Department, not only your support of our financial our house of the department, but your support of our employees. Every single person on this board has been to our all-staff meetings, has been out to our facilities, to tour our facilities, and I can tell you firsthand as director, that means a lot to our employees. Your support of our employees truly inspires them to find new and creative ways that we can serve our citizens. And the support from a board like this makes my job as director easier. So I just wanted to thank you for your support. In our budget presentation today, we're going to go through our operating budget, our capital budget. We're going to highlight some specific key projects that we have in each of your districts. And then I'm going to turn it over to Kathy. Kathy has taken all those investments in our utility infrastructure. She's put them through our rate model, and she's done a cost of service analysis, and she'll go ahead and present our rates for fiscal year 25. On this slide, you can see our total operating budget for fiscal year 25 for utilities is $104 million. That's a $7.6 million increase from last year. You can see on the pie chart on the right, we have three categories in our total operating budget. Those categories are our operating, our capital outlay, and our personnel. The largest category in our total operating budget is our operating category. In that category, we have seen some increases like the general fund has due to increases in cost of goods and services. In the operating supplies and maintenance category, we've seen increases of $3.3 million. Everybody's aware that we're very fortunate to have 3 safe, reliable water supplies. You're also aware that 2 of those supplies are actually supplied by outside wholesale entities, Appomattox River Water Authority and the City of Richmond. 85% of those, 85% of our supplies are by outside supplies. When they have rate increases, those rate increases would go into that operating category in our budget. In addition, we're seeing increases in treatment chemical costs, very significant increases in treatment chemical costs. That impacts not only our potable water treatment plants, but our wastewater treatment plants, as well as we actually add chemicals to our wastewater at our pump stations to control odors and things like that. So that has a huge impact on our operating budget. Another component that has a large impact on our operating budget is electricity. When you think about it, we use electricity for everything. We use it to treat water, we use it to treat wastewater, and then to pump those to and from our facilities, we use a lot of electricity. So in that category alone, we've seen $1.9 million of increases in that category. All in all, in our operating budget, we saw a $5.6 million increase in our operating budget, which is a large component of that $7.6 million total. The next category, our capital outlay, is the smallest component of our total operating budget, but that's the one where we see some of the largest fluctuations year over year. This year we saw a $700,000 increase in that, and that's where we budget really for the replacements of some of our larger equipment or some new equipment that we have. This year we're proposing 2 new pickup trucks for some new positions we're proposing, and some replacement of some large vehicles at the end of their useful life, including some crane trucks, some pony dump trucks. We're also replacing some diesel generator at some of our pump stations, our sewer pump stations. This is also the category if a developer builds a development and we ask them to oversize the lines to comply with our master plan that's not needed for that development, those funds come out of that operating capital category. And again, a $700,000 increase. The third category in our total operating is our personnel cost, and that's sitting at $32.9 million, and that's about a $1.7 million increase from last year. In that category, we're seeing increases in the merit increase, the annual merit increase, and again, we mirrored what the general fund is doing with budgeting purposes of 4% for the merit increase. We're also asking for 3 new full-time positions in the Utilities Department. We're asking for 2 principal engineers. Those will be housed in our operations division and our tech support division, and that's to support our increase in capital improvement programs, which we're going to get into a little bit. We're going to start ramping up some of our capital improvement programs, not only the replacement of aging infrastructure so our customers can be assured by reliable water and wastewater service, but also we have a large number of expansion projects. As the county continues to grow, we need to support our future customers. We're also asking for one chemist. That chemist will be housed at our Addison Evans water treatment plant that houses our state-certified water laboratory. That laboratory actually tests and all the water for all our 3 sources to make sure our water is safe for our customers. Our 10-year capital spending plan is by far the largest component of our long-term financial planning for the Department of Utilities. Our capital costs, and for all utilities, your capital cost really is what drives your utility rates, just because infrastructure costs are just so expensive. Putting pipe in the ground, putting replacement pipe, expansion pipe, and plants are just an expensive component of your budget. These are funded with the use of our revenue that comes in. They're funded by use of reserves, and they're also funded by use of issuing debt, our reserve bonds. I think Mr. Holland made a comment on the last budget that the county doesn't use bonding capacity for operations. We don't do that in utilities too. And he hit the nail on the head when he said that, and I'll even go a step further. We actually, in utilities, when we issue bonds, we try to issue bonds for expansion projects. Expansion projects are projects like new plants or expanding wastewater capacity. And the reason that we do that when we try to issue bonds for expansion is that future customers should pay for future projects. And when you issue that bond, that future debt would be paid for by connection fees by future customers to try to not put that cost burden on your existing customer base. And that's extremely important to make sure that you're able to keep your existing rates low. And I know Mr. Holland understands that very well in his capacity, and I value the comment that he made during the other budget presentation. On this capital spending plan, our 10-year spending plan for utilities is $1.3 billion, and that's billion with a B, significant investment in our utilities. About 39% of our investment is going to be in pipes, tanks, and pump stations. About 61% of our investment is in plants. And that's kind of unusual. If you start diving in the numbers, that's a huge investment in plants. If you start diving in the numbers, about 77% of that 61% is actually expansion numbers. As our county continues to grow, and everybody knows how fast the county is growing, our water and wastewater capacities start nearing their permitted capacity. So what we have to do is to plan for expanding our facilities to meet our future customer needs. And so right now we have planned in that 10-year CIP on the wastewater side is to expand our existing Proctors Creek plant from 27 million gallons a day to 54 million gallons a day. In the next 10 years, we plan to spend $193 million at that facility to start the expansion of that facility. That additional 27 million gallons a day is about 90 years of wastewater capacity for our future customers. And that'll be a phased expansion, obviously. On the water side of the house, I think it was mentioned in the general funds budget, as we start nearing that capacity on the water side, we have to look for where is the county going to get a future water supply. Over the last 4 years, we've been in the permitting process, and I'll give you a little update on the fourth water supply project. But we plan to spend $426 million in investing in a new water supply over the next 10 years. That's a significant investment for the Department of Utilities, and that's why that category you see is so large, is because of the expansion component. On the capital project spending, we wanted to highlight some of the more significant projects. What we like to do is to highlight one significant project in each of your districts to just give you an idea of some of the cool projects we have going on. Most of these projects will be in the design phase. I'll just quickly highlight them. We put them all on one slide here. So the first one I'd like to highlight is in the Clover Hill District, Ms. Schneider. It's at our Addison Evans water treatment plant. I know you know that plant well. You took a great tour with us at that facility. That Addison Evans water treatment plant was actually built in 1967. It was built at the lowest point of the reservoir. It was built in a floodplain before a floodplain was even defined. And so, oops, that's right. And so that plant actually started experiencing flooding 2 years after it was constructed, and the floods have only gotten worse. And so that plant is very important to us as a long-term water supply. It actually supplies about 15% of the county's water, supplying over 50,000 of our residents with water. So extremely important to the county. We're going to invest in that facility, continue to invest in a 1,500-foot long flood wall. You can see in this picture, that's a actual picture of the plant with the artist rendering of that flood wall. The flood wall would be anywhere from 5 to 18 feet in height, depending on what elevation you are at the facility, to protect that facility as a long-term water supply. That project is already designed. 2 days ago, I got word from FEMA. We were getting the last approval from them to move forward with the bid. That project should take about 2 years to construct. And so once we get that approval, hopefully by the end of this month from FEMA, we're going to go ahead into the construction phase on that project and get that project built. Next project, number 2, would be the Dale District, Mr. Holland, the Centralia tank. The existing Centralia tank is a 250,000-gallon leg tank that was built in 1957. It has reached the end of its useful life, not only in age, but also in size, as both domestic and fire flow for the residents of Dale. We have proposed a new 2 million gallon tank to replace that tank. The existing site is too small to put the new tank, so we have proposed a new location at the Cogbill Park and Ride, located near Cogbill and Chippenham Parkway, as the best location. That is actually on the board's agenda tonight for board approval. It's actually recommended approval by the Planning Commission and staff for approval tonight. If that does get approved, we'll finish up the design on that. It'll take about a year, and then through bidding and construction will take about a total of 2 more years after that 1 year of design. So exciting project in the Dale District. In the Matoac District, Mr. Carroll, the Chesden West and River Road pump stations were originally constructed in 2008 as part of the Southwest Corridor project. That project originally was to bring water from Appomattox River Water Authority out west to the growing county. Those 2 pump stations are in series. Chesden pumps to River Road, that pumps out west. That project, those 2 pump stations can pump 20 million gallons a day out west. This project will actually increase that capacity to 40 million gallons a day. We'll be adding 2 pumps at Chesden West Pump Station. At River Road, we actually have to add 2 additional pumps, replace the existing 3 pumps because of head curves at the pumps. We're also doing some electrical upgrades, and we'll be replacing, installing a new generator at that facility. That project is currently under design.
That facility at Ivy Mill River?
Yes. That's the River Road one at Ivy Mill and River, and that has the elevated tank on it. And then Chesden West is located near the Appomattox River Water Authority, very close to their property. That project has been under design. We have about a year more of design on that project. It'll take about 3 years to construct that project because there are some building additions involved with the River Road project. Excited about that project, big project for us as well, to bring additional water capacity out west to the growing citizens and county. The 4th project, Mr. Engel, you have very few projects in the county, but when you do it, you got the big ones. So this don't tell the other board members, this is probably my favorite project. So this is the Appomattox plant located in the Bermuda District. This is the 4th water supply. This project, I haven't given an update to the board on this project in some time, but we have been making a tremendous amount of progress on this project. On this project, just to give an idea, the county is very fortunate to have 3 water supplies. This would be the 4th water supply for the county. This project, just to give you an update, we have already purchased the 33-acre site, the intake site on the tidal Appomattox River, located just west of 295, east of historic Pointer Rocks Park. We have also purchased the 89-acre property in Ashton Creek Industrial Park that's shown on this slide. That will be where the treatment plant is located. We have also acquired and I say these things almost as bullet points, but I can tell you getting these permits and getting this across the finish line has been a lot of work by a lot of dedicated staff. And I can't say enough about the great staff that we have at Utilities to get this across the line. We have a Virginia Marine Resource Commission permit to put a 40 million gallon per day intake in the tidal Appomattox River. We have that permit in hand. The permit is protective of fisheries and the environment. We also have acquired a very favorable Virginia Water Protection Permit, which is a very difficult permit to get from DEQ. Very favorable 29.8 million gallon per day permit for that facility. So we have also, I know procurement got recognized today. I can tell you they've done a great job with us. We've actually just put out on the street a request for proposal for a design engineering firm to design this facility. Very exciting. And so that's out on the street. We're going to select a design engineer to build this facility. Once we select the design engineer, we anticipate a 3-year design on the project, anywhere from 5 to 9 years to construct the project. So we're hoping that in, say, a decade plus minus, we could have water coming out of this facility. So really excited about this project. One thing I'd like to point out is that we plan to build a 40 million gallon per day intake in the river. That depiction is a 20 million gallon per day water treatment plant. That would be the first phase. That's that $426 million investment. That will be expandable to that 40 to meet the intake. You can see the size of the property we bought at the plant. That size of that property will be able to support a much larger facility than what we're putting there. And again, we're trying to look out way into the future. We wanted to make sure we bought enough land to be able to support ultimate growth in the county for this water supply, because this is going to be significant for the county. Great project.
And if that one goes dry, then the world's got problems.
Yeah, so you're exactly right. So one of the huge benefits of that project is it's tidally influenced. The water quality at that location is as good as our other supplies, because it's so close to it's tidal fresh, but the level of the water is influenced by the Chesapeake Bay because it's tidally influenced. So even in drought conditions, that water will rise and fall with the tides. And so the amount of water that we're drawing, even though it's 29.8 million gallon a day permit, it's insignificant to the amount of water that's flowing by there. To give you an idea, on building a 20 million gallon per day plant and a 40 million gallon per day withdrawal, Chesterfield County, the entire county, on average uses about 39 million gallons a day, and peak day ever in the history of Chesterfield County has been 70 million gallons a day. So it just gives you an idea of what we're talking, the magnitude of the project we're talking about. So can't be more proud of staff on what they've done, work on this project. Last but not least, Dr. Miller, in the Midlothian District, we have been working on a Providence and Woodward Road waterline project in Midlothian. That project is a reliability and replacement project. We are going to replace a water line that was 57 years old. It's a 16-inch water line that we're going to replace down South Providence that starts on Midlothian Turnpike, goes down South Providence to Woodward, and then goes east to our elevated Elkhart tank. That's about 1.5 miles of line. We're going to replace that 16-inch line with 20 and 24-inch diameter brand new ductile iron pipe, the best pipe that you can buy. So very excited about that project. That's going to be about a 2-year design and a 2-year construction on that project once we get started. We took all these projects, we threw them in our rate model, and Kathy and her staff did a great job on doing cost of service analysis. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kathy to go over our rate proposals.
Like George said, we've taken everything that he's talked about, the items in the CIP and the items in the operating budget, taken those, run them through the rate model. The rate model is telling us that for fiscal year 25, we need to increase our water consumption rate and our wastewater consumption rate. And on this slide, what you see is a residential customer uses on average 7 CCFs of water. That means it's about 5,250 gallons a month. So with that rate increase of 15 cents per 100 cubic feet of water, and then also a small 52-cent per month customer charge increase, the average residential customer user would experience an increase in their monthly bill of $2.62 per month. And that would be, as you see on the slide, that amount's going to be about a 4% increase. And then, as Matt had talked about, local government CPI, well, for the water industry CPI has been about 4.7. So the increase that we're proposing is in line with what our industry CPI has seen as well. And on this slide, we take that 7 CCF average residential customer usage, and we calculate what the FY25 proposed rates would be for a bill for one of our customers. And then we take that same usage and compare it to other localities. And as you can see on the slide, our rates are favorable to other localities for the exact same amount of water usage that our average residential customer uses. So what you see on the slide here are their FY24 current rates, and ours is the proposed FY25. We've talked to our neighbors, and they are considering rate increases. So if they would consider a rate increase, we would be having an even more favorable rate for our citizens. The capital cost recovery charge is like a connection fee to the county's water and wastewater system. The rate model with the major expansion in the water that's coming is telling us to increase the water connection fee by $300. This would raise our proposed connection fee to $11,425. The last time we did a water connection fee was about 5 years ago, and it was even longer ago than that for a wastewater connection fee. So this is not something that we do often. And so this slide here shows you what our proposed FY25 connection rate would be, and then it compares the connection rate to some other localities that are experiencing like the same kind of growth that we are. Again, we've talked to some of the other localities. They are considering increases. So our FY25 connection rate would still be extremely competitive against some of the other connection rates that we can consider to be our peers. So at this time, I just wanted to really thank you. We're so excited about so much stuff we have going on. Like George said, we've got some major projects going on. Some of them rehabilitation projects, some of them expansion projects, so that we can make sure that we're looking way far ahead of the county. We don't come in and install these after the houses are built. We've got a plan for the expansion way out into the future. So we've got a group of really dedicated employees that are enthusiastic about what they do. They really appreciate your support, and we appreciate your support both from administration and from the board. And your interest in our business has been obvious to us, like with the plant tours and stuff that you've gone on, and the interest you've shown in our organization. We just really appreciate what you've done for us. Reminder that we do have a public hearing on March 27th on the utility rates. That'll be with your other budget public hearing, and then the adoption of the code for our utility rates. If our proposed utility rates changed, would be during the April 10th adoption of the budget. So if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, board members? Yes.
Just an appreciation. I'm appreciating you, George, for how thorough you are. Whenever a constituent asks a question, how well you are able to kind of explain it. You're not even just explaining it to the constituent, but to me also. So just how your thoroughness and the time you take, how much it's appreciated. So thank you.
Excellent. Anyone else? We want to thank you so very much, George, and your department for all you do. We all need you. We all depend on you. So thank you for good water.